On behalf of Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, the Beige Project, and Malala Fund, I want to personally and formally welcome everybody here. A round of applause for yourselves for making it on time. I'm really happy. It's unlike many events we see where, even though we are starting a little after time, but when I came in, I was very much pleased by the kind of attendance I saw. And this gives a hint as to the value that the event is going to give by the grace of God. Welcome to the Kano Girls Education Summit. Today, we'll be discussing education. We'll be discussing girls. We'll be discussing equitable access. And this is part of Bridge Connect Africa Initiative's effort to fill the gaps observed in education, especially girls' education, not just in Kano State, but in northern Nigeria, and by extension, Nigeria at large. And other things. I want to share a story with you. I have told this story many times, so much so that it has almost become my own story. I want to tell you the story of a young woman who, like many other women of her age, as was the norm then, was given out, whose hands was given in marriage at the age of 12. After about 9 years or 10 years, she already has 4 kids, and she lost her father. She lost her husband after losing her father, of course. So by age about 22, 23, she already has 4 kids and is expecting a 5th child. And she hasn't even finished primary school. No husband, no father, nobody to take care of her. She came back to start life all over again. She hadn't even finished primary school. This woman would go ahead to enroll in the then Agency for Mass Education to learn at the age of 23, 24 how to read and write while taking care of 4 kids and the 5th one, who was a child then. This woman would proceed to the university to get a bachelor's degree and would later work for the Kano State Ministry of Education and would retire about 9 years ago as a director in the Ministry of Education. This woman is my mother. I'm standing here before you as a testament to what women can do and what women can achieve. She was able to do this, of course, because of the encouragement she got from her brother, younger brother then, who is now late, and from other family members who encouraged her to go back and seek education, because that would be the way out for her. We're doing this conference for the many other girls and women that don't have these people in their lives that would encourage them, because we can't leave them. We have to take care of them. And this is why Bridge Connect Initiative Africa is doing all of these initiatives, the Beige Project, bridging access to girls' education, and other projects around girls and women to give every child, every girl child, and every woman equitable access to education. A round of applause for Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, the project, and of course, by extension, Kano State Government also for the support thus far. The Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Education, Gwani Dr. Ali Haruna Abubakar Mokoda. So we had to have a discussion around which of your titles should come first. But the team agreed that Gwani should come first. Yes, yeah, yes, at all times. So we are honored to have you here. The special advisor to His Excellency, the Executive Governor, Kano State on Education, Malam Tajuddin Gambo. The technical advisor to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State on Education Reform, Malam Haladu Muhammad. The Chief Operations Officer, Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, Fatima Aliyu. Dr. Yakubu Muhammad, who is the Summit Committee Chairman, the committee, the organizing committee chairman and consultant. My mother, my teacher, Professor Rabia Saeed, who is a lecturer and a presenter also. The special advisor to His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State on Vocational Education. Honorable Malang Habib Hassan El Yaqub, who is a former lawmaker and Executive Secretary, Kano State Senior Secondary School Management Board. Our lead paper presenter, Haja Rabia Adamu Isaac. Other presenters and speakers that are here. Here also, because we're all here for them. I recognize your presence all. It is an honor to have all of you here, and would ensure that this summit gives enormous value to all the attendees, and by extension, the girls in Kano State, by extension, Kano State government also. So your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, I want to welcome you to the Kano Girls Education Summit 2025, themed Investing in Her Future, Advancing Girls Education Through Equitable Budget. It's going to be a 2-day summit by the grace of God, today, Friday, being the first day, and activities and events will continue tomorrow by the grace of God in the same venue, Saturday, where we expect to have many presentations, panel discussions, and other discussions also around girls and education. I'm going to read out the agenda, and that establishes the protocol, and then we move straight to the items on our agenda. By the grace of God, we'll begin today with a national anthem and an opening prayer. After that, after which we would have a welcome address by the Chief Operations Officer, Bridge Connect Africa Initiative. Then we'll take opening remarks from the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Kano State. Then we'll take the Summit Chair's remarks. And then there will be a goodwill message from Malala Fund. After that, we'll have a documentary presentation on policy, titled From Policy to Progress. After that, we would move to our first paper presentation, that is to be delivered by our lead presenter, after which we would have our first panel of the day, followed by the second paper, that is to be delivered virtually by Dr. Waizi Yau. And then we move to our second panel of the day, and then there will be a spoken word performance before we break, as it is Friday today. We'll break by the grace of God at 1 for prayers, Jumu'at prayers, and lunch also. We're expected to come back after that for an app demo called Equity. And then we'd have our last activity, or second to the last activity of the day, which is a breakout session where we'll have different breakout rooms. Would intimate everybody as to how that is going to happen. And then would report back after that to report on the discussions that happened during various breakout sessions. After which would move to the last item on our agenda, which is the closing reflections and wrap-up of the day. By the grace of God, this is how the event is going to flow today. If there's any change in the agenda, I'm going to announce that before it happens. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, welcome to the Kano Girls Education Summit. With no further ado, we move straight to the first item on our agenda, which is the national item, after which we'll take the opening prayer. May you all rise for the national anthem, please. It will come up in a few seconds. If it doesn't, I would invite a volunteer to come and lead us in the new national anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hang on to our children a banner without stain. Oh God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Thank you. You may take your seats. I was following the national anthem too, just like the Honorable Commissioner was. But I don't want to lie, to be honest, at some point I was just moving my mouth. And Honorable Commissioner, I can see some of your teachers here. They were also moving their mouths. we may need to do something, sir, on the new national anthem. Great. Thank you so much. So with no further ado, having established the protocol, now we would continue with that. If there's any change, like I said, I would announce and would recognize guests and dignitaries as they come in also. With no further ado, I would now invite, I know, sir, we're taking you off guards, but I want to invite the Special Advisor to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State on Vocational Education, Honorable Malang Habib Hassan El Yaqub, to come and give us the opening prayer, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلوا على النبي قل هو الله كفاؤكم Allah ubangiji ka taimaki wannan taro Allah ubangiji ka taimaki gwamnatin Allah ubangiji ka sa a yi taro lafiya a gama lafiya rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar ya aziz ya ghaffar ya rabbil alamin wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. While that was happening, we had in attendance the SSA teacher training, Malin Yusuf Abdullahi Yanauku. Sir, we are honored to have you. Thank you so much for coming. Okay. So this summit, ladies and gentlemen, is part of the activities of the Beige Project, which is Bridging Access to Girls' Education, as championed by Bridge Connect Africa initiative, supported by Malala Fund. This project has ambitious targets of goals of mobilizing support for more investment, especially in girls' education in Kano State, from all stakeholders, different stakeholders, from the government to the grassroots, to the parents, to the media and other grassroots organizations. It has ambitious objectives of engaging policymakers, mobilizing media and civil society organizations to advocate for better education for girls, work with government and communities, and CSOs and media also. So this summit, the first of its kind under the project, is coming as part of the activities of the project, and this is something that would continue to come. Like I said, the project has the ambitious goal of supporting girls' education in Kano State, but not just Kano State, by extension, northern Nigeria and Nigeria, but beginning with Kano State at first. Having said that, would now move to the next item on our agenda, which is going to be the welcome address, and that is to be delivered by the Executive Director, Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, in person of Sani Muhammad, who is going to be ably represented by the Chief Operations Officer of the same organization, Fatima Aliyu. Please, a round of applause for her as she comes on stage. Another round of applause for the tireless hours and nights for planning this event. Yeah, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Education, Gwani, Dr. Ali Haruna Abubakar Makoda, Special Advisor to His Excellency, the Kano State Governor on Education, Malam Tajuddin Gambo. Dr. Rada, apologies, sir. The Technical Advisor to His Excellency on Education Reform, Malam Haladu Muhammad, the Executive Director of Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, Dr. Yakubu Muhammad, the Summit Chairman, Professor Rabia Said, Senior Advisor to His Excellency on Vocational Education, our lead paper presenters here present. Assalamu alaikum once again, and good morning. It is a great honor to welcome you to the Kano Girls Education Summit, an important platform that reaffirms our shared vision for inclusive, equitable, and transformative education for every girl in Kano. At Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, we have always believed that education is more than a policy priority. It is a shared promise of dignity, opportunity, and hope. Over the years, our work has taken us into communities across northern Nigeria, where the power of education, especially for girls, continues to reveal itself in the most profound ways. Every time a girl stays in school, a door opens. And this door is not just for her. It opens for her, it opens for her family, for her community, and our collective future. The Kano Girls Education Summit comes at a defining moment for education reform in Kano State, representing a convergence of voices, vision, and commitment aimed at advancing lasting change. Through our partnership with the Kano State government and the invaluable support of the Malala Fund, this summit seeks to elevate the conversation from access to accountability and from policy to real transformation. The summit provides an opportunity to reflect on the significant progress made, from the state's declaration of a state of emergency on education to increased education budget allocations and renewed attention to girls' learning, safety, and completion. It also challenges us to think critically about what more can be done to ensure that every naira invested in education translates into impact for girls in every classroom and across every community. For Bridge Connect Africa initiative, the introduction of the Gender Responsive Education Budgeting Framework is one of our proudest contributions to this ongoing journey, as it provides a pathway for embedding equity, transparency, and accountability into education financing. And it is a model that other states can learn from. But the true success of this work lies in its adoption, which has been graciously done by the Kano State government. Can we put our hands together? And since this adoption has been done, we are looking forward to the implementation by those who hold the state mandate to lead, the government, the educators, as well as the communities. As we gather under the theme, investing in our future, advancing girls' education through equitable budgeting, we are reminded that the future we seek for girls in Kano is one that must be built collectively. It should be done through leadership, through listening, and through shared responsibility. We are grateful to the Malala Fund for its unwavering partnership and to the Kano State government for its continued commitment to this vision. With this, I warmly welcome you to this important gathering, one that marks another milestone in Kano State's journey to greatness and reaffirms our shared commitment to building a future where every girl not only learns, but truly thrives. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. I wish you all fruitful deliberation.
Thank you so much, Fatima Aliyu, the Chief Operations Officer, Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, representing the Executive Director, Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, to deliver that welcome address. While she was delivering the speech, we had in attendance someone who is my brother and very good friend, a remarkable young person whose vision led to all of us coming here. And that person is none other but Sani Muhammad, the Executive Director. Please stand up for recognition, sir. The Executive Director, Bridge Connect Africa Initiative. He had to come at this time because of some emergencies that came, but he sent his apologies and asked for Fatima to represent him. Thank you so much for that, Fatima, and for the wonderful initiatives happening at Bridge Connect Africa. To lead us in the next items on our agenda, I'm going to invite my co-host in person of Malam Yusheu Hamza Kafinchiri, who is the Director, Planning, Research and Statistics, Kano State Ministry of Education. Sir, a round of applause for him as he moves to the podium and to take us through the next items on the agenda.
Thank you. Please, let's appreciate this gentleman. He's been doing a great work. And as he did mention, we're going to be together today and tomorrow to lead the two sessions that we'll be observing for girls. But I have to ask, and I have to say, for the past years, Kano State government has been doing greatly in the area of girl-child education. And those areas that every one of us is looking for someone to do something in is the area of giving the girls access to education. That's one. Access is one of the priorities of the government for now in the ministry and in the state. Retaining them after giving them the access, and then ensuring that they complete education. That's the basic priorities of the ministry. And for this, we have to appreciate the Honorable Commissioner and, of course, the government for doing that. And I want to tell you that whatever we're going to do in a summit for girl-child education, it must be in these three areas, ensuring that there is a safe space for them after accessing, retaining, towards completion, so that they learn the very best of what the curriculum offers. So on that, I welcome you once again on behalf of Thank you. This is NEPA or KEDCO, which one? I don't know. We've been having this thing from NEPA till this time. So I was talking about access, and I was talking about retention and completion of girl child education, but I want to tell you a story. The issue is now boy child. And my story is based on what I experienced yesterday. I was the leading director from the State Ministry of Education that helped the Ministry of Budget and Planning to organize a national summit yesterday in Kano, which His Excellency was able to grace. And it is on the issue of nutrition. What do we have to give our kids and how? And what are we supposed to take at as people? The summit organizes a quiz for students of secondary school on nutrition. They told us from the ministry to pick 8 schools. So I confronted my permanent secretary. I said, okay, now how do we pick these schools? He said, let's give four girls, 4 boys. First round yesterday, all the boys are out. All the boys were knocked out on the knockout basis. First round, they are all out. And it was the girls that scaled through to the second round, and they were the first taking 700,000 naira, they were the second taking 500,000 naira, and they were the third taking 300,000. And the girls deserve an applause for, based on what I experienced yesterday. Thank you, girls. Honorable Commissioner, sir, this sitting has a chair. And the chairman of today's occasion is the technical advisor to the governor on education reform. And in a sitting that has a chairman, he tells us what to do. So I have to now invite the chair to permit me to invite the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Kano State. With your permission, Mr. Chair, can I go ahead? Because my job will end now. Unless you ask me to continue or you ask the other person to continue. Please continue. All right, thank you. Please, let's appreciate Mr. Chairman, please. May I, at this point, then invite for the opening remarks. May I invite at this juncture, for his opening remarks, the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Kano State, an astute administrator, a very good politician, and someone that is very straightforward in all things that he does. Please kindly join me as I welcome the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Education, for his remarks. Gwani Ali Haruna Abubakar Mokoda. Let's appreciate him, please. Thank you.
In the name of Almighty Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. Almighty Allah and His consecrated angels are sending blessing to you, Ya Muhammad. O you who believe, send your blessing and salutation of peace. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majidin. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majidin. Alhamdulillahi allazi khalaqal insan min sulalatin min din ثم جعله نطفة في قرار مكين ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين يهدي من يشاء بتوفيقه إلى جنة النعيم وضل من يشاء عن الخير ويجعله في الجحيم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري وحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. The special advisor to His Excellency, the Executive Governor on Educational Reform, who also doubles as the chairman of this historic summit, Malan Haladu Muhammad. The special advisor, who is also my teacher, to His Excellency on Education, Malan Tajuddin Gambo, our highly respected gentleman, special advisor to His Excellency on Vocational, Malam Habibu Hassan Madobi, the senior special assistant to His Excellency on teacher training, Malam Yusuf Yanoko, our respected chairman, Qur'ani board, Malam Haruna Pang-Idau, our directors from the Ministry of Education and other staffs that are here in our midst. Our respected SBMC chairman, Malang Halud Baraya, and other senior stakeholders. The executive director, Bridge Connect, and also the chief operation officer, Bridge Connect, Haja Fatima Musa, other donor agencies, Associate Prof. Awolu from KSF and others. Our resource persons and also the consultant that are here, other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, may peace and blessings of Almighty Allah be upon us all. It is my single honor and privilege to warmly welcome you all to the Kano Girls Education Summit. Today marks an important milestone in our state's collective journey to strengthen and transform our education system, particularly for the benefit of our girls. Education remains one of the most powerful tools for social and economic transformation And in Kano State, our commitment to restoring the dignity and quality of education has never been stronger. We have taken a bold step to reform our education system, expand access, and ensure that every girl, no matter where she lives, has the opportunity to learn and thrive. The declaration of state of emergency on education, the expansion of the education budget to over 31%, the restoration of boarding facilities for girls' secondary schools, the recruitment of teachers, and the provision of pre-uniforms and school transport are all reflections of our government's renewed determination to make education equitable and inclusive. These are not just policies. They represent a collective promise to our children, our communities, and the future of our state. This summit comes at a crucial time. It provides us with a platform for reflection, dialogue, and action, bringing together policymakers, educators, civil society, development partners, and communities to build on the progress we have made and to confront the barriers that still keep too many girls out of school. It also serves as an opportunity to deepen our collaboration on the gender-responsive education budgeting GREP framework, an important tool that will help us ensure our education resources truly meet the needs of girls across Kano. I, therefore, must sincerely appreciate the partnership and technical support of Bridge Connect Africa initiative and the Malala Fund, whose shared commitment and advocacy continue to strengthen our vision for an inclusive education system. I also wish to recognize the contributions of civil society organizations, school leaders, parents, and community members whose voices and actions are critical in shaping the future of girls' education. As we gather under the theme, investing in her future, advancing girls' education through equitable budgeting, I call on all stakeholders, government, communities, partners, and the families alike to renew our shared resolve to ensure that no girl in Kano is left behind. Together, we can turn policy into practice and the commitment into meaningful change. I, therefore, welcome you all once again, and I look forward to the rich conversations and the commitment that will emerge from this summit. Let me, at this juncture, conclude by praising the Almighty Allah who gave us the opportunity to be here. Extolled be His glory, and also asking his forgiveness for any mistake we might have done, and pray he may include this in our record of good deeds in the day of resurrection. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, the Honorable Commissioner. Thank you very much. But I think the Honorable Commissioner deserves another round, a very sound round of applause. Honorable Commissioner is always inclusive. Yes. It's very inclusive. In his dealings, in his approach to life, he takes everyone along, irrespective of your status. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner, for that speech, and it's been very well presented. Well, talking about this proper noun, Bridge Connect. What is Bridge doing to connect? I don't know what is Connect doing in the bridge name. Bridge, that is all. The gap is being bridged. I must thank these professionals. They are individual professionals in individual fields coming together, talking alike mind, and agree to see the gaps in girl-child education and bridge it. Let's appreciate Bridge Connect, please, for this wonderful combination of themselves. Some of them are medical doctors, some of them engineers, some of them teachers, some of them, and then now comes, okay, let's see if we can bridge the gap. It's about time for us to invite the next presentation, which is a speech. It's an opening remarks as well. But before I do that, let me appreciate the presence of some of the dignitaries that enters the hall, probably when the Honorable Commissioner was presenting his remarks. The State PTA Chairman is here, Malam Alhatu Salihi Maijimiz. Let's appreciate the State Parents Teachers Association Chairman. And the SBMC Chairman has been in the hall. School-based management committee is a strong committee that works around our schools. So please, let's appreciate the SBMC Chairman is here with us. Malam Tijani Haladu Baraya is here with us. We have the Acting Executive Chairman, Kano State Quranic and Islamia Schools Management Board, is another active person, always working. Please, let's appreciate Malam Haruna. I was his HOD when I was teaching. Please, let's appreciate him one more time. Thank you. I would also appreciate the representative of the Executive Chairman of Take Local Government. He's here with us. Please, let's appreciate him. Thank you, sir, for coming. They've been doing wonderful in the area of basic education. Take is one local government that stands out. Directors from the State Ministry of Education are here. We have special assignment and directors' calls. Please, let's appreciate them one more time. And on that note, I will invite for, I have already introduced him as the chairman of the occasion, and I'm doing all this work as he assigns me. Let's invite him to come and make his speech. Please, let's invite this person. He's an education specialist that worked, as you said, for over 10 years in Nigeria as education reform manager. He's an M&E specialist. He's a performance management specialist. He worked in several countries around the world, including Nigeria and in Liberia. Let's welcome the technical advisor to the governor on education from Malam Haladu Muhammad. He was a former classroom teacher. He was a former presenter during the military regime. I have a story for you on that. He was once chased into the studio by a military man.
Be careful before he tells so many stories that I will find difficult to reconcile. Honorable Commissioner, my fellow special advisors, the SSA, directors, participants, collaborators, permit me to stand on the protocol elaborately established. DPRS has a lot of stories to tell, but I'll tell you one about him that he doesn't want to reveal, maybe. He's a director of planning, research, and statistics, Ministry of Education. But you can see he does more than that. We happen to be together sometime because of curiosity. I was presenting a talk show or radio for almost a decade, where we touched on issues that were very uncomfortable to the powers at that time. It was during the military. Nobody wanted to say anything. Saying anything can be very dangerous. But we chose to say it because we had one umbrella we were hiding under. I was a lecturer then, and they said we had academic freedom. Everything we said or do is in advancement of knowledge. We were marked as manufacturers of knowledge. So if we criticize you, we are not criticizing you. We are only manufacturing knowledge. That's why I survived many of those attempts to take me away. We are here for this summit. But the summit says we are investing in her future. Where there is investment, what do we expect a return? What do we expect to get after investing? Return or profit, right? So what if we invest in her future? What is our own profit? If you choose to invest in her own future, what do you get in return? Sorry? The upcoming generation. What will they do? Okay. I wanted her to bring that out. They said, when you educate a woman, you are educating the nation. When you invest in her future, you are investing in your country's future. I think that's why we are all here, to invest in the future of this country through the girls. We have some stories to tell as the day rolls by, probably tomorrow too. But you will agree with me, there has been a lot of intervention in girls' education. A lot. I cannot remember any donor, that is not trying to invest in girls' education in this country. I can't pinpoint any. Everyone is investing. But are we seeing any return? Are we seeing the returns? The DPRS just told us yesterday, the boys and the girls were brought together. What happened to the boys? First round, they were out. We have facts and figures from Kano State. We'll show you that today and tomorrow. We should know that the boys are in serious danger from these girls in Kano State. But all of that is to tell you, the home, the nation is rising. People are getting educated. Mothers, these girls we are educating are becoming mothers, educated mothers. And we know what educated mothers do to the home. So the aggregate is developing ourselves, developing our homes, and developing our country. Please let every one of us that is here contribute today and tomorrow. Small drops makes the ocean. You have ideas, everyone here has some idea that if translated into action can be wonderful. So let's put our heads together and bring out all of those ideas and share them. Don't be shy. Some of you will go into syndicate groups. Some of you will be here as panelists. Some of you will ask questions. Some of us will provide answers. Together is our total contribution that makes this summit the investment we want it to be. So don't be shy. Make your contribution. Ask the questions. Answer the questions if you can. And let's all together come together and make sure we succeed. Thank you so much for coming. Special thanks to my honorable commissioner who came first. I'm surprised to see, I was trying to sneak in and be the first to be in this room, but he ended up being the first. That's leadership. When they say Nigerian time or African time, or Malala time, let's all be one time, right? So thank you so much. We look forward to a productive day, another day tomorrow, and in the hall, we'll see great outcome from this summit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I should go on, sir. I should speak out. I should speak out, sir. I'll digress more. Just 1 minute. The program he was presenting then was Speak Out. So if you were given a program, Speak Out, you can speak anything that he says. Now my lecturer in AOZO Radio, and we're having it as the only radio station, FM. Yana Gama speaking out, before he comes out of the studio, sai muka ga sojoji a gidan rediyon. Sun fi mota hudu. Ana ina wanda yi program yanzu. Sai MD ya ce, ina Haladu, muka ce ya sauko. Ya ce to ku ce ya fito a hankali. Ta cikin sojojin aka suna ina yake su they want to, because radio is something you can hear people but you don't see them. Ta cikin sojojin muka danna shi, sha muke za mu fita wannan ina za shi aka ce a nan zai je a tsallaka titi zai je muka yi sneaking din shi ya haura ya hau mota ya gudu. Ai, sorry sir. Suna ina yake yana cikin studio ai za a fito muku da shi. So eventually the MD had to do some works upstairs and a reconciliation was followed later. But you know something? He kept speaking out. But I didn't program Dumbokuma. But he minds his business. Thank you very much, sir. Let me invite my co-MC to come lead us on the next goodwill messages from Malala. Let's have you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Malala, I also want to speak up. I don't know, should I? It's been almost 26 years since we left those days of the military era. Thank you so much for all your efforts from then and the efforts you continue to make now also. The next item on our agenda is the goodwill message from Malala Fund, and that is going to be delivered by Nabila Aguile, who is the Chief Executive Malala Fund, but who unfortunately could not make it here and is going to be ably represented by Sani Muhammad, the Executive Director, Bridge Connect Africa Initiative. Please, a round of applause for Sani and continue to clap for this remarkable young man until he comes on stage.
Thank you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Good morning, everyone. I want to first start with the protocol. The Honorable Commissioner Kano State Ministry of Education and civil society partners in advancing girls' education and addressing key education sector challenges in Kano State. Our shared goal is clear: to ensure that every girl in Kano has access to quality education and the opportunity to learn, lead, and thrive. Education is the foundation of progress. It drives economic growth, strengthens communities, and fosters peaceful, equitable societies. And when girls are educated, entire families and nations prosper. And I think the chairman has even mentioned this as well. We are proud of our partnership with Kano State and our local partners, including Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, whose efforts through the Bridging Access to Girls Education project have led to remarkable progress. The adoption of the Gender-Responsive Education Budgeting Framework by the Kano State government marks a significant milestone, embedding gender equity in education financing and ensuring that resources are targeted to meet the unique needs of girls. This is a vital step towards creating inclusive, resilient education systems that leave no girl behind. Malala Fund also commends the Kano State government for its leadership and continued commitment to strengthening policies that promote safe, inclusive, and equitable education. By prioritizing gender-responsive and gender-transformative education planning and financing, Kano State is setting an example that can inspire transformative change across Nigeria. Our mission in Nigeria is to ensure that every girl, including those who are married, pregnant, or displaced, can complete her education and reach her full potential. Together with government, civil society, and community partners, we are working to make that vision a reality. We congratulate Bridge Connect Africa Initiative and the Kano State government on the success of the Kano Girls Education Summit 2025 and wish the conference fruitful deliberations that will shape the future of girls' education in Kano State and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the Executive Director of Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, for that excellent speech. I was observing something while he was doing his speech, with the protocol and everything. When he came to acknowledge his team, he looked to the left. And we can see what is on the left, right? Only a few would understand. His first team member is there on the left. He had to look there. Thank you so much, Sani, for that. At this critical juncture, just before we move to the next item on our agenda, I want to recognize the presence of Associate Professor Awal Halilu, who is the chairman, KSF. Please, a round of applause for him. He's been here very, very early. I had missed recognizing him earlier on, sir. Apologies for that. That being said, we'll move to the next item on our agenda, which is going to be a documentary presentation. The documentary is titled From Policy to Progress, Girls' Education After the Declaration of State of Emergency in Education in Kano State. And what we are going to see in this documentary, just about 20 minutes or thereabout, is the state of education in Kano State, capturing the past, what it used to be, and the present, and relating it with the present. In the documentary, you're going to see and hear grassroots voices, education authorities, and you're going to hear from the girls. The aim of this is to show the progress that is being made, where we used to be, where we are now, and the enormous work that still needs to be done. So sit back, relax, and listen. Get your notes. I'm very sure many things are going to be mentioned that we would find very relevant, especially to our policymakers and administrators here. The technical team, if you are ready, can we have the documentary up? It would last for just about 20 minutes. Thank you very much. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
In Kano State, home to over 15 million people, two parallel worlds exist side by side. You'll see girls in school uniforms walking confidently towards their futures, books in hand, dreams alive in their eyes. But just steps away, you'll see their peers, girls of the same age, carrying water buckets, tending to younger siblings, working in family shops. Education is a right, but it's not a reality for all. In northern Nigeria's most populous state, every girl deserves a seat in the classroom, but two main desks remain empty.
Bana jin daɗin yanayin yadda makarantar nan take. A da ana zuwa da yawa, amma yanzu ba a zuwa da yawa.
The question isn't just about getting girls enrolled, it's about keeping them there until they complete their education.
Framing. Let's have in the speed and first light out. Thank you. Akwai tsofaffin hannu 'yan talabijin fa anan, kar in turo muku wasu. Thank you.
In Kano State, home to over 15 million people, two parallel worlds exist side by side. You'll see girls in school uniforms walking confidently towards their futures, books in hand, dreams alive in their eyes. But just steps away, you'll see their peers, girls of the same age, carrying water buckets, tending to younger siblings, working in family shops. Education is a right, but it's not a reality for all. In northern Nigeria's most populous state, every girl deserves a seat in the classroom, but too many desks remain empty.
Bana jin daɗin yanayin yadda makarantar nan take. A da ana zuwa da yawa, amma yanzu ba a zuwa da yawa.
The question isn't just about getting girls enrolled, it's about keeping them there until they complete their education. This is the story of that challenge and solution that
Our sincere apologies for that. We seem to have a technical glitch, but that is going to be sorted out in earnest. While the technical team try to resolve that glitch, I want to recognize the presence of a very good friend and sister, the Senior Special Advisor to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State on Girl Child Education, Malama Hafsat Adhama. Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you. Yeah, all is safe. So while we sort that out, we'll move to the next item on our agenda, which is going to be the lead paper presentation one, the first of the day. That paper is going to be delivered, that presentation is going to be made by Hajia Rabia Ishaq, a phenomenal, remarkable person who is the former Commissioner for Education, Jigawa State, the proprietress of first grade schools, former lecturer, long-term advocate of girls' education, who has worked with numerous development partners and projects, and too many other designations and roles, too numerous to mention. She's going to present a paper titled Investing in Safe, Functional Boarding Schools for Rural Girls. And what you are seeing here is more than 3 decades of experience in education, in girl child education and education beyond Kano State, in northern Nigeria, and Nigeria at large. Please, a round of applause for Hajia Rabia Ishaq. Do you want to sit? I was thinking. Yes, you can. Okay. Do you need the protocol? I'm not good at that. Okay. This is it.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The Honorable Commissioner for Education, Dr. Gwani Ali Haruna Makoda, Special Advisor, my mentee, Alhaji Haladu Muhammad, the Special Advisor, Alhaji Gambo, Tajuddin Gambo, a long-time associate in the field of education, and shago gwarmaya ana ta kuma sha yanzu. Other advisors here present, sorry if I don't mention your name, it's not because I didn't see you, but because I'm really not cut out for protocols. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Today's event is indeed a very, very important one for me. And I don't know, they have not started the slideshow. Have they set up? Set up. Okay, I have nothing much to say. Yes, you're opening your mouth, Ladidi. I have nothing much to say because, you know, talking about education, like it's it's an everyday thing. Every day, everybody talks about it. Everybody knows the issues. And the issues have simply refused to go away. Maybe there's something that we are not doing. And I'll say it. Normally, I do like controversies. So, Your Excellency, Honorable Commissioner, His Excellency should not mind me. I'll say it as it is, without mincing words. But definitely, I know that there are a lot of beautiful things going on. I've seen some that really made my day, even just by reading through the brochure. I saw something that caught my interest. It is the main issue, the issue of budgeting. But I'll not jump into it now. I think we'll go into the presentation. So, our topic is investing in safe, functional boarding schools for rural girls, specifically. Because we want to empower the future, one girl at a time. Why rural girls? Just imagine a world where every girl, regardless of where she lives, regardless of her level of income, regardless of her parents' interests, where all girls have the same opportunities to learn, to grow, and to thrive. That was those days. In our days, this is exactly the situation. Every girl has the opportunity to go to school and thrive. Those opportunities were provided by the government. And many of us, of my generation and beyond, were beneficiaries of such programs. So rural girls today still face obstacles that prevent them from going to school, especially at the secondary school level. We have achieved gender parity at the lower levels, but the higher levels are still contentious. There aren't many schools available within rural communities, and trekking long distances to go to school is not an answer, it's not an option. Most girls would rather do what? Stay home. And when they stay home, they really have something to do. The household chores are still there. So girls drop out of school for such reasons. So then, boarding schools were designed for rural girls to bridge this gap. And I remember in my days, Shekara Girls School was an experiment. I'm going to talk about it later. They did not build schools then in the rural areas, but they brought rural girls physically into Kano, into the 3 schools that were available. And I remember, most of you here are far, far behind, in Shekara when they used to bring girls with their trays, the trantalasu, and they both the kaswa, they're just being brought into school and that's it. They have been enrolled, whether they like it or not. And that is how rural girls were able, to go to school then. So boarding schools are indeed necessary. So in this presentation, I'll attempt to trace some little bit of history, like I'm doing now, of education and what it was like from anecdotal examples myself. And then we'll try to situate the current challenges of girls in northern Nigeria, and then try to also profile some solutions to the critical stakeholders here. The most important thing is to discuss the importance and benefits of investing. Malam Halid talked about investing in the future and expecting returns. And those returns should be profitable returns that will make a difference in the society. And that's what the aim of this presentation. So during the time, the pre-colonial, colonial days, yes, there was some little attempt to train girls. But the training was very short, short-lived for the purpose. What was the purpose? To provide some teachers, some environmental health workers, some few, healthcare workers with very limited education, ability to just read and write, and nothing much was done in terms of building other aspects of the lives of the girl child. But still, something was done. And with the advent of the First Republic, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Sardauna of Sokoto, was very, very passionate about girls' education. He made sure his daughters all went to school. I know all of them. And he made sure that other girls also go to school. The challenge then was bridging the gap between the North and the South. And the only way that gap could be bridged was through girls' education. They realized that our parents were there in the regional Ministry of Education, and they tried all they could to put girls first in schools. So there was a legacy inherited from the days of Sardauna, and I would like to call those days the golden age of girls' education in northern Nigeria especially. So gradually, girls' enrollment increased. This is just a chart from some source written by Abdullah Obadam. I'm sorry, the acknowledgement is not here. But there's an increase in both total total enrollment in the region and the number of girls. So from 1962 to 1970, we have seen that the increase is real. And like I said, anecdotal insights from personal experience at Shekara Primary School, and then the story of Dala, the story of WTC, all are covered in this age. So there was an effort, physical effort, genuine committed effort by the Northern Ministry of Education and the State Ministry of Education to put more girls in school. Now we talk about changes in the public sphere. The moment girls' education was focused from 1976, we had a plateau kind of, and then a spike in 1979. Can someone guess why it happened in 1979? That's this 42% increase in transition rate. It was under the reign of Abubakar Rimi. Clearly, we can see the effect of commitment and political will to provide for the education of girls and all, in fact, not only girls then. Then we had a serious drop in 1981, only to be picking up gradually. The reason why I have this graph here is to show us that this problem that we have today did not happen today. It is happening because of these issues, these lulls that we've had over the years, these up and downs that we had are really the reason why we are in this situation today. The current state of education, I don't need to say it, and everybody knows it. But we know that Nigeria is the home of the largest number of children not going to school. I don't want to say 10.5 children are out of school. That is the UNICEF figure that is being overused and overused. I don't know. I think it doesn't matter what number are out of school. But the fact is, children are out of school. And we keep talking about them. We keep trying to do something about it, but we never really got it. After Obasanjo's UBEC Act, some conscious effort with policy, backed by policy, was done. But still, things did not improve. Things were just getting worse by the day. Then President Goodluck Jonathan came with this model schools for out-of-school children. That experiment didn't also work because of why? Because only 100 schools or so that can take only 50 students, and you're talking about millions of out-of-school children. How will that help you to solve your problem? It wouldn't. Then we have another, to me, I don't want to call it sham, but it's something like that. The alternative to school project of the past administration. Billions were spent, yet nothing happened. The girls and the boys especially are still out of school. So the only alternative, the alternative to school project brought to Nigeria is putting students more on the streets. So the streets became the alternative to schools, unfortunately. I'll say it anywhere. The streets became the alternative to school. After billions of naira has been spent in we don't know what. So, girls form a significant percentage of these children out of school, and those from the rural areas even more so. So northern Nigeria, we're facing existential, crisis as far as education is concerned. With low female enrollment and high dropout rates in the rural communities, with social barriers and cultural barriers still in effect, including early marriage and child labor, poverty. So while gender parity has been achieved, like I said, in the urban areas, especially at the lower level, rural areas still show significant problems, resulting in missed economic opportunities. So the challenge in numbers, 7.6 million girls in Nigeria out of school. The burden of out-of-school children, lies more in the Northwest, with us in the Northwest. And I'm sorry to say, Honorable Commissioner, Kano has a lot more, of course, because of the population factor. Transition, while 84% of children actually, attend school, only 53% of them reach upper secondary school. And girls are more likely than boys to complete lower secondary school. But the progress beyond lower secondary school, girls are absent. You go to tertiary institutions, girls are even more absent. You don't see them. Of course, I know that there are many professors here, some of them my junior sisters, my daughters. Yeah, there are a few examples, because still I think it's a drop in the ocean. We could have more and more. Another critical challenge is the learning outcomes. The learning outcomes are so poor, so low. Girls go through school 5, 6 years. They come out, can hardly write their names. I've seen that in reality. As a commissioner in Jigawa State, I have seen a situation where SSS 3 students cannot write a simple sentence. Yet, we examine them in English, and then we say that they have gotten 9 credits, which I now want to call 10 credits. Because when I say 10 credits, it means that there's no credit, as far as I'm concerned. But you see, they come out with these highfalutin credits, and then they come out expecting to go to university, expecting to, to be something, after that. I'm sure the professors here will agree with me that we are having a hard time teaching this kind of children because they know technically nothing. So girls go to school, they learn that. So when we went to school in Shekara primary school, in 1968 I was in primary school, and that primary school was a comprehensive school that gave everything. And I learned everything from that place. Everything that a girl needs to learn, you will learn in the boarding house. But today it's not the same. Girls from the rural and the poorest household, they perform worse because of obvious reasons. Their mothers are not educated. Their mothers don't care about this Boko education. So, and then when you make it even more difficult, when you make it expensive, how do you expect the girls to, to go and learn? They can't, they won't. In my days, there's a seriously village girl that came in, could not speak a word of English, but you need to see her today. She's highly, highly educated. And she did not go beyond secondary school, honestly. But the English she speaks, I don't think even the university professors will not dare stand by her. I don't mean it, Mariam. So, and then the issue of early marriage. What else do you do with your daughter if she doesn't go to school, she doesn't have anything to do? What else do you do with her? As a Muslim, you get her married. If there is no support to take your girl to school, you get her married. So marriage in itself is not a bad idea, but it is, if it is done too early, it will cause many problems in the society. It correlates with extremely low literacy and very low skills, not only ICT skills, all skills will be very low if a girl is not educated. Oh. So why focus on rural girls? Next slide. Because rural girls experience problems and challenges like the distance. Girls, cannot walk hours each day to go to school. So it makes learning a challenge. Poverty and opportunity cost. Families prioritize household labor and early marriage, like I said earlier, over education. There is the issue of security and safety. Girls are likely to be harassed, to be trafficked, to encounter violence on the way to school. And many families sending their daughters to school don't feel comfortable doing that. And then the schools in remote areas do not have essential infrastructure. As a commissioner a few years ago, I was in a school in Jigawa. The school is meant for 1,000 students, clearly. The school had 3,000 students. Toilet facilities were certainly depressed. Boarding, the hostels and dormitories were too small to contain those girls. No learning materials. And what really made me sad was the fact that open defecation was the order of the day in the school. If you stood at a corner, you will see a band of blackness in the horizon, and that blackness is open toilets for girls. It was really a very devastating experience for me. But this is what we have turned into. And the solution? Educating rural girls in safe and secure environments that will lead to eventually lower poverty rates, improve health and nutrition of mothers and children, and then lead to overall informed communities that will be able to make decisions. Functional boarding school, not only boarding school. If I say boarding school, I don't mean like the ones I've been talking about, that has no toilet facilities. Functional boarding school will be more than just dormitories. It should be a holistic place where there's a holistic intervention designed to maximize cognitive, emotional, and social growth of the girl child. So total development of the child is anticipated under these environments. Like the ones I keep saying we had in Shekara and beyond. So why does it matter, especially those in the rural areas matter? First, because there are certainly many more girls in the rural areas than in the urban areas. They are not captured. The girls in the urban areas have the opportunity to go to school, maybe to go to day schools. Some of them even can afford boarding schools that are private. But the girl in the rural area doesn't have that option. Her only option is the public school, the government public school that is, probably not adequate enough. But that's the only, access she has. So role of boarding schools in rural education, it will provide growth. It will build self-reliance, develop stronger psychological makeup, like I said, development of the total girl. Then there will be safety, because the girl will be in an enclosed environment. She doesn't need to walk home. She doesn't need to encounter predators that may likely traffic her or molest her. So there's the issue of security, although I know we've had several issues in the last few years. The Chibok experience is readily, recalled. So safety within the confinements of a boarding school is assured, it's more assured than in day schools. And then the community within which the school is situated also will be empowered to look at education more positively, to participate and to allow their daughters to participate because they are assured that the girl will be in safe hands. So from 1960s to date, Kano State's experiment in girls' education has produced, like I said earlier again, a cohort of women who have carried the flag to greater heights in many positions of authority. I'm an example. I can see Ladidi there. And I know Mariam also went to Shekara. And I know all the women, important women in Kano, they went to Shekara before they went to Dala. So that is the experiment that I expect, Your Excellency, you'll be able to replicate in Kano. Bring back those golden days of girls' education. Please, this is my appeal. Oh, sorry. So what kind of school do you want? What are the key features of a safe, functional boarding school? Look at these beautiful beds. Unfortunately, I don't know about your experiment here in Kano. Maybe your first lady elite girls' school might have such an environment. But honestly, this is a utopian environment now in the secondary schools in Nigeria. It's highly utopian. But in our days, Ladidi, you are a few years behind me, I know. But even in your days, I'm sure such was normal. Such a bedroom setting was normal for girls. Very beautiful, very clean. Everything was given, including sanitary pad, including Panadol for the girl, including everything that the girl needs to be clean and decent was provided. So this is what we expect to see, in our schools in Kano and Jigawa and Kazina, Yobe, Sokoto, all the northern states. This should be our goal, to provide standard education and give girls a chance to live clean, decent lives that will make their later lives better. May amfani ilimin tu. If it is not going to make the girl child better, if you are going to go to school and they have to defecate openly like you do in your house, then there is no point in the education. You have learned nothing. So girls must have a chance to have a life like everybody else, rural girls inclusive. So health and hygiene, like I said, dedicated menstrual hygiene. This is a great challenge. I know in secondary schools today, we don't give sanitary pads. We are teaching them to do alternative to sanitary pads. I don't like that. It's not good, please. Government, individuals, philanthropists, please, civil society organizations. This is important. Women, you are more here. This is the situation of our girls. They may not be your daughters. Maybe our daughters are in elite schools. Maybe they are even abroad. But they are our sisters. They are our sisters' children. So please, let us participate. Let us contribute to making life better. In schools, girls get better meals. Better than their homes, obviously. But let me say something here. Excellency, I'm talking to His Excellency, through you, Honorable Commissioner. Please, feeding girls in the boarding house is very important. It's overwhelming. I can tell you this, I know, because I've been there. There was a time, many years ago, we were paying 120 million per month for the boarding schools. I'm very sure now it will reach about 300 million a budget, or even in Kano State, maybe $1 billion in the boarding houses. And I might say here, that is why That is why some of us choose to do what? Cunningly to deboard, to close down the boarding houses. No more boarding house because of feeding. It's a shame. Honestly, I don't think it's a good way to approach the situation. If we must, we should just look at how, a small amount of, money can feed the girls. Nutritious meals, school feeding, even at the primary school, is important. It has been stopped. Can we go back to it, please? Technical advisor, you are listening? Can we go back? School feeding. You know we had a project on school feeding. You know we did. Under a donor project, you and I were there. We designed a project, we fed children in Sokoto and Bauchi, and it made a difference. So now we started and we stopped. Nigeria, please go back to this very good model. It's a very good model everywhere in the world, even in America. Even in America, there is school feeding. I had children in America when I went to school, and they were feeding them lunch every day, good lunch. Because there's a relationship directly between what is being eaten and the mental development of the child. So if the child doesn't eat, what will he learn? Our children don't eat, they go to school. They go to school, they have no teacher. They go to school, they have no water. They go to school, they have no toilet. They go to school, they have no playground. And yet we continue to say that we are sending them to school. We are not. We are wasting generations upon generations of Nigerians. Please, let us be diligent. In boarding house, girls are mentored. Life skills are given. And now that we're integrating more vocational training, financial literacy, psychological counseling, to build self-confidence is very important. In my days, all these were given. No doubt about it. In Shekara, all these things were given. In Dala, all were given. In WTC, the same. And all the other schools that subsequently came after. So for us to provide for the girls in the rural communities, we have to respect cultural nuances. I know a lot of people don't want, education to send their girls to school, which gave rise to the Boko Haram thinking, mindset. And it is because we have not been able to link the Boko, the education, with our Quranic, values, so that children would see the progression between Boko and Quranic education. So I think this is very important. Are they showing you anything or not? Where are the slides? We are not there yet, are we? No. We are on benefits of investing in safe schools. So when we invest in girls, we are investing in quality education that empower girls to achieve full potentials. We are investing in improved health and well-being so that when the woman becomes a mother, she is ready to take care of her health and the health of her family. So next slide. Benefits of investing in safe boarding schools. There will be social returns. When you educate a girl, I've heard this being said several times, you transform the nation. The impact of investing in girls' education generates exponential social benefits. It brings economic growth. It brings social progress. This goes without saying. This is me, by the way, in one of those rural schools. For Nigeria's development, improve gender equality. When you ensure equal opportunities for everybody, you'll be contributing to a more just and equitable society. Peace will reign. So investing in girls' schooling creates more skilled, resilient, and stable population, leading to increased national GDP and sustainable development. That reminds us of our Goal 4 and Goal 5 of the SDGs. There will be long-term prosperity when you educate girls, you contribute to the health, you reduce poverty, you bring a stronger and more stable communities. Next slide. Next one. Now the challenges. I'm almost done, please. The challenges of building safe, functional boarding schools. The greatest challenge is the resources. Your Excellency, through Honorable Commissioner, you know, say kwenye hakuri. Because I know we used to say in 1994 I was in the cabinet of Jigawa State again, and we were thinking about the quantum of needs in the education sector. And we realized that if we close the whole state and stop spending in any sector, spend the whole budget in education, but it will go nowhere. So we have to find ways. Accommodation, food, materials, the teachers, these are all great constraints, especially in sustaining the, like I said, you tend, your coping strategy, Excellency and Honorable Commissioner, is the next is alifa waccan makaranta boarding din. I imagine wa'ancan hada su. Alifa waccan ita ma. A daina kai wa wancan kaza. Ma 'yan kwangila a matse. You know, abinci a rage. If you see the food that these kids are being given in the boarding houses, wallahi, you will not stop crying. You will not eat it. Maybe you can give it to your cat or maybe your dog because it's so small and so poor. Not like the ones we had, Ladidi. We used to have hunter and bread and egg. We used to have chicken. We used to have everything. In Shekara, Bawe, a secondary school, a primary school, we had the best. Can we do it again? I don't know. So the challenge is again insecurity. Protection of girls is really a huge challenge. I remember in those days when girls were being snatched every day. You will go to bed in the night and you wake up in the morning, the news cha an kwashe yaran mata mota guda ana kallo ba wanda ya hana. So wannan is a demotivator, sannan kuma is a challenge to the government because at that time we had to hire military in our boarding schools in Jigawa. Sojoji ne suka dinga gadin makarantunmu. For how long can you sustain that? It's not sustainable. So akwai wannan, especially in the, Chibok, Borno axis, Birnin Kwari, Niger, Zamfara, and Sokoto, and other places. Alhamdulillah, let me not say it, I'm not going to say it, but we can do better. So the challenge matrix, we want to increase access on one hand. Malang Haladu, the access guru. So you are here, we want to see access of, more girls and more boys. We believe you can do it. We believe it's your, it's your stuff. So we want to increase access. And then we want to ensure that we address the resistance from communities. The traditional gender roles that prevent girls from going to school should be addressed clearly. And then shortage of the schools, because you know what we have done in the past? Wallahi, we have created access. We have created demand. Yes, we created demand as far back as 1987. I was in Kano State government then. There was a year where 22,000 girls got out of primary schools. And we had to put them in secondary school. But our spaces in the secondary schools could only take about 5,000. That was 1987. So you can see the out-of-school issue started those days. Because we did not plan. We refused to plan. And we are still refusing to plan. We can do better. Excellency, Honorable Commissioner, we can do better. We have created demand. People want to take their kids to school, but the schools are not there. And the ones that are there are not conducive. And the ones that are conducive do not have the requisite teachers. The children come out with zero learning outcomes. So the challenge is that people, the access might be even there, and then there are fears of losing cultural identity, like I said, because of the issue of Boko and the fact that we are not able to link it to the work that we do here in this world. An experience I had, Haladu, on the NEI project. I was in the community convincing people in the non-learning centers to integrate. I'm querying them on the issues of integration. You know what they told me? Hajiya, Allah dan tsaya mana. Wai wanga ambu da kika gaya mana, mi na amfaninsa? Mi na amfanin shi. Na ce ya kaman yaya? Ai boko mu boko ƙarya na. Boko ƙarya na. Saboda me? Saboda anan ga za ka yi amfani da shi, anan ga za ka yadda shi. Ba za ka tafi lahira da shi ba saboda ka bi amfanin yin shi. Haka suka ce. Wallahi, and I was like, jikina ya mutu. Na ce to kuma ai sai an zauna a duniya, aka ce a zauna a duniya kaman ba za a tafi ba ko saboda a duniya za a dauki to mu dai wanga dai ba shi da wani amfani wurin mu. Kawai mu dai ke hakura ba za mu yi ba. Haka suka gaya mun halar ban gaya muku ba. Lokacin ku ne ogogin mu sai su zo daga USA su zo da wani ɗan littafin su suna mana me yake dala kwa DQA ko ladidi su ta harasin nan mu ga su nan. To so ni ban ce musu koyi mai, and you know what I did? I'm sure you know what I did. To time. 2 minutes. Haba da Allah. Nan za ku kwana. Sai na gama. So how can we invest? Government, state and federal and local government should prioritize girls' education. NGOs and international donor organizations, you will not build schools for us. They will not build schools, but they will never build a school for you. But they can give you the technical capacity. And I'm very proud to say that we have a group, the League of Development Professionals, of which Haladu is a member, Ladidi is a member, Haji Abiru is a member, all the donors, trained people here are members of that committee. And we are proud to say that our capacities have been built intensively. That's why we are able to stand here and talk endlessly. We appreciate what they have done, but I want us now to go back and use those capacities built, especially under that umbrella League of Development Professionals, to provide government, Kano State, Jigawa, Katsina, all the states with technical support to improve upon the education outcomes in the northern states. And then now we have this skills versus certificates program. We should think of devising a curriculum, special curriculum that is responsive to the 21st century needs of girls. This is talking about looking outside the box. There are many things we can do. You cannot, if you start to say that you will educate every single girl that is out of school, wallahi ba in the way it is being done. But there are ways, there are models that we can design and implement so that our girls will be educated, even if it's not within the walls of, boarding houses. We can provide education, very good quality education, through innovation, like I said, looking outside the box. We should combine government efforts with the private efforts, private sector investment, and scale up, in terms of providing the services. Leveraging technology. Now technology, you don't have to go to 4 walls classroom to be able to learn. Like something like Khan Academy, many others on the net, you can teach and you can train. And you can also do mobile, like you do mobile library, you can do mobile classrooms. You can do crowdfunding, ask philanthropists to take girls, to support girls, to give scholarships, to renovate your schools, and so on and so forth. So, and there are case studies. There's one project called GCP, the Girl Child Education Project that is being piloted by an NGO in ATBU, developing rural schools. Then you should also ensure that communities are holding the process. They own it. Commitment and sustainability requires a long-term, strong dose of political will. Nigerian government needs to prioritize education, increase budget. I am very happy I've seen this effort here in Kano. We are doing something in that direction. So we hope that other states can also emulate. Local communities, like I said, corporations and philanthropists, NGOs, all need to come together. This is my final call to action. In conclusion, investing in safe, functional boarding schools for rural girls in Nigeria is more than just an investment in education. It is an investment in the future of the nation, and by empowering girls, we will empower the entire country, the entire communities in the country. I thank you so very much for listening to me. And I don't know whether I've taken too much. I apologize, but I could take more if you could give me more. Thank you so very much. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Ma. Please another resounding round of applause for her. If anything, I'm happy that the technical advisor, Madam Haladu, spoke before her, and my co-MC had earlier, because everything she did was she actually spoke out. She also spoke. She also spoke out. But I'm very sure I can see the excitement in the face of the Honorable Commissioner. I'm sure notes have been taken and the right investments are going to be made. My key takeaway, Ma, thank you so much. Thank you. My key takeaway is girls must have access to quality education, but not just quality education, education that has respect for their peculiarities. I think that will be my key takeaway from that. Thank you so much for that. So before we move to the next item on the agenda, I have a few recognitions I would make. This one, I take personal responsibility for not having done this recognition earlier. I want to recognize the presence of Malang Abdurrahman Ubadoshi, who is the chairman, Spinal Cord Injuries Association, Kano State, and also his colleague, Musa Muhammad Ubakura, who is the chairman, Nigeria Association of the Blind, Kano State. My sincere apologies for recognizing you late, but the Honorable Commissioner did that immediately after his speech. Thank you so much, sir. That tells you the spirit that the Honorable Commissioner imbibes of inclusion. So we had skipped our documentary presentation, and we'll go straight to that. But one more time, further recognitions. I also want to recognize Hajia Amina Al-Qasim, who is the coordinator, Girls Education, Ministry of Education, and also the chairperson committee on the GRIP framework that we're going to launch and sign tomorrow. And she's also part of the organizing committee of this summit. So a round of applause for her. I also recognize the presence of Dr. Binta Abubakar, who is the Executive Secretary. This one is a very personal one for me too. Dr. Binta is the Executive Secretary, Kano State Agency for Mass Education. A round of applause for her. At this juncture also, last but not least, Malama Fatima Amnif, who is the Director General, Kano Social Protection Agency. The technical team had signaled they are ready for us, so with no further ado, we move to our documentary presentation. For those of us that are just joining, the documentary is titled From Policy to Progress, Girls' Education After the Declaration of State of Emergency in Education in Kano State. And what we are technically going to be viewing is the state of education in Kano State, capturing the past and relating it to the present. The documentary is going to play for about 20 minutes, and we are being very conscious of time. We know it's Friday. By the grace of God, we'll try and take a few items and then go on break, ensuring that nobody misses Friday prayers today. So we are conscious of the time, ladies and gentlemen. We go straight to the documentary.
In Kano State, home to over 15 walking confidently towards their futures. But just steps away, you'll see their peers, girls of the same age, carrying water buckets, tending to younger siblings, working in family shops. Education is a right, but it's not a reality for all. In northern Nigeria's most populous state, every girl deserves a seat in the classroom, but too many desks remain empty. The question isn't just about getting girls enrolled, it's about keeping them there until they complete their education. This is the story of that challenge and the solution that's taking shape. Education is one of the most powerful tools for development. Yet, in northern Nigeria, cultural barriers, poverty, and
education, and it's a framework that's really going to help every person working in the sector of girls' education in the state.
During the swearing-in ceremony of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, based on the assessment, was able to make some pronouncements related to education. The first is he accorded priority to education. He said education is his first priority, second priority, and third priority. And in the year 2024, he translated that into reality by allocating 24% of the state budget to education. Then the following year, 2025, that is this year, the percentage was increased to 31%. The present administration, particularly His Excellency, has the political will and passion to enhance education, not only basic education. So in view of that, we are committed.
These government leaders are making key decisions that have potential to transform girls' education across Kano State. Their choices about policies, budgets, and implementation determine whether the challenges we witnessed in Bebeji persist or are systematically addressed.
Akwai Bridge Connect, akwai kuma wata kungiyar kira Malala. Saboda haka in su zo za su yi muku cikakken bayani abin da ya kawo su.
But how do community realities connect to government's decisions? How do the voices from Bebeji reach the offices of commissioners and budget directors? This is where the Bridging Access to Girls Education Project, BAGE, becomes crucial.
At Malala Fund, we are focused on a world where every girl can learn and lead. Under our 2025 to 2030 strategy, we are focused on ensuring that every girl is able to complete 12 years of secondary education, with a key focus on secondary education due to the rates of dropout between junior secondary school to senior secondary school. The implementation of the Child's Rights Act and the national guidelines on re-entry for pregnant and adolescent girls, as well as girls impacted by early marriage, to ensure that they're able to return back into education and complete their 12 years of education.
The BAGE project, supported by the Malala Fund, works as a bridge connecting the daily struggles we witnessed in communities like Bebeji to the policy decisions made in government offices. This isn't about imposing external solutions, but about amplifying local expertise and ensuring community voices reach decision makers.
My name is Sani Muhammad, and I founded Bridge Connect Africa Initiative. I founded Bridge Connect out of a deep conviction that girls deserve the same opportunities as boys to learn, to thrive, and to shape their futures. While serving in Kebbi State and having engaged with adolescent girls across communities in Kano, I saw firsthand how child marriage, gender-based violence, and other traditional harmful practices limited the potential of girls around me. These practices were often normalized in communities, sometimes justified by traditional norms, and left many girls with very little choices.
Sani Muhammad's journey from community advocate to Malala Fund education champion illustrates BAGE's approach, identifying local leaders who understand both grassroots realities and policy processes, then providing them with platforms and resources to drive systematic change.
Becoming a Malala Fund education champion has truly been a turning point and a transformative one for me in my journey. It has connected me with a global movement of education advocates pushing for gender equitable education and ensuring that girls have access to 12 years of free, compulsory, and quality education. It has provided us the resources, the visibility, and credibility we needed to take our work to the next level. And through this particular project we are running, which is the Bridging Access to Girls Education, our advocacy has become really very structured, more data-driven, and very impactful. We've been able to engage with policymakers, religious leaders in Kano to push for reforms that prioritizes girls' education, and ensuring that the government also prioritizes investment into girls' education.
Through advocacy and collaboration with education stakeholders in Kano, BAGE helps ensure policies and budgets reflects the realities of girls across the state. But advocacy needs tools, frameworks that translate community needs into policy solutions. This is where the Gender Responsive Education Budgeting Framework, GREB, becomes transformational. GREB ensures that policies and budgets reflect the unique needs of girls and boys in Kano State.
This is one special approach, actually. The first one ever that I believe is going to address gender-specific issues in education, particularly taking into cognizance those things that are not properly addressed in the traditional budgeting system. In the traditional budgeting system, they just make allocation, they identify things just holistically, what kind of number of classes we need, the number of toilets we need, and this. But this GREB policy is helping them to address this one. If we're able to succeed in this, the terrain of education in Kano will change. And this will also lead to a significant change in the education in northern Nigeria, which will also change the education in the whole country. I know data is there. Kano has the highest number of out-of-school children. What is the reason? Through GREB framework, you can now understand, you can have data.
Dr. Anas explains how GREB transforms budgeting from a technical exercise to a tool for change. Instead of allocating resources based on historical patterns, GREB requires evidence about what actually works for girls. The overcrowded classrooms in Bebeji, the lack of female teachers, the scheduling conflicts. GREB would make addressing these issues budgetary priorities, not afterthoughts.
While developing the framework, we experienced a significant level of support from key education stakeholders in Kano, like the Kano State Ministry of Education, Ministry of Budget and Planning, among many other agencies and ministries, as well as CSOs in Kano State. They did not only support in the co-creation processes, they supported greatly in overseeing the validation exercises that we had. We also had an informal adoption by these key stakeholders, and currently we are awaiting the formal and public adoption by the Kano State government. Adopting GREB is important for Kano State because it ensures education resources are allocated fairly to meet the real needs of girls.
Fatima's role in coordinating GREB development reveals something crucial. This framework emerged from unprecedented collaboration. Government officials, civil society organizations, community leaders, traditional authorities, and the girls themselves all contributed to shaping a tool that reflects both technical expertise and cultural sensitivity. The validation process wasn't just bureaucratic approval, it was community ownership, ensuring that GREB reflects local realities while meeting international standards for gender-responsive budgeting. Across Kano State, progress is happening. Schools are being built, girls are returning to classrooms, and government leaders are making new commitments to education. These gains are the result of deliberate advocacy, partnership, and stronger education financing.
Our role as SBMC is to mobilize community, particularly parents, to enroll their children into school.
Of 13 boarding schools didn't happen by accident. It happened because school-based management committees like his advocated persistently, provided evidence of need, and hold government accountable for delivery.
Girl child education in Kano State is less than 0.3% in the total budget of education in the state. And through our advocacies and also engagement with House of Assembly members, state actors, and even non-state actors, as of 2025 budget now, the girl child education is around 9% out of the 31%. Through engagement of the CSOs, media, and partners like the Bridge Connect, now I'm happy to tell you that by September, when they are coming back to school, these 13 boarding schools for these young girls will be reopened.
Dr. Awal describes how civil society partnerships have turned advocacy into measurable results. New schools built, girls returning to classrooms, stronger government commitments. These aren't coincidental improvements, they are the outcomes of systematic advocacy that connects evidence to action, promises to delivery. The progress we're witnessing in communities like Wudil shows what's possible when gender-responsive principles guide investment decisions. Better facilities, more female teachers, functional toilets, manageable classroom sizes. These improvements happened because someone asked, what do girls need to succeed? And then allocated these resources to provide it. But isolated successes raise a fundamental question. If gender-responsive approaches can work in some communities, why not everywhere? The GREB framework provides the answer, a systematic approach to scaling what works. Every girl deserves a chance to learn, to dream, and to achieve. Girls' education isn't a project, it's a promise. We've seen what's possible when that promise is kept. In Wudil, we witnessed transformation. In government offices, we heard unprecedented commitment. In communities, we saw ownership and advocacy. The GREB framework provides the roadmap to scale these successes across every local government area in Kano State. Stronger data backs the need for GREB adoption. Remember the statistics from Bebeji: 841 teachers, fewer than 100 female, students getting only 2 hours of learning time because of inadequate facilities, girls missing school for lack of basic sanitation. These aren't inevitable conditions. They are policy choices that GREB can help change. When every budget line asks, how does this serve girls? When every policy decision considers, will this help them stay in school? When every naira spent tracks, are we closing the gender gap? That's when the progress we see in isolated communities becomes the reality for every girl in Kano State. The framework is ready. The partnerships are strong. The government's commitment is there. The community ownership is growing. The evidence of what works is clear. As Kano State formally adopts and implements the gender-responsive education budgeting framework, integrating it into its budgeting and resource allocation systems, the pathway toward a brighter future for every girl becomes clearer. A future where no girl is left behind.
Thank you so much, Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, for this. Thank you, Malala Fund, for supporting this. And an even bigger thank you to Kano State Government for the declaration of state of emergency and the efforts being put in place thus far. I'm sure somewhere along in the documentary, some of us had this feeling that we're here to point accusing fingers at the government, right? I'm sure we had that impression, but we are not here to do that. If anything, we are partners with the government. We feel the government needs us. In much the same way, we also need the government. So this is not to point accusing fingers at anybody, at the government or anybody, but to say so much has been done. This is where we are, but so much also needs to be done. So much more needs to be done. And we are happy as development partners to support the government in ensuring that we have better education outcome for girls, and not just girls, even boys also. Before we move to the next item on our agenda, I want to recognize a few presences here. While we were watching the documentary, we had in attendance Dr. Ebenezer Leo, who is the Director, Education Sector, Nigerian Governors Forum. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. He also doubles as the National Coordinator, Committee of States Commissioners of Education in Nigeria. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you, sir. We also have in attendance here Dr. Binta Bala, who is the Director, PWD, Women Affairs, Children, and People with Special Needs, Ministry of Women Affairs, Children, and People with Special Needs. Thank you so much, Ma. It's a pleasure to have you here. As as we prepare to move to the next item on the agenda, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, we're going to move to the panel. It's just about a few minutes after 12, 15 after 12. The panel will take us about 45 minutes. We have an item before the break. So with your kind permission, sir, we want to take the panel now. That will take us to like 1, and then we break for prayers, and then come back and continue with the items, if we have your permission. Thank you so much. Yeah. So with no further ado, we'd move to the first panel discussion for today. The panel is titled Ensuring Safe Learning Environments for Rural Girls. We have 4 amazing panelists here and a moderator. So I'm just trying to pull out their bio. Just bear with me. So while I get that ready, for the benefit of those of us that came a little bit late, this is a 2-day event. So this is the first day. In fact, the main event is going to happen tomorrow. We're going to have in attendance His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State tomorrow. We also hope to have the Honorable Minister of State for Education, and a few other dignitaries where there's going to be a formal declaration of the GREB framework here. It's going to be done tomorrow, and that excellent work was done by Bridge Connect Africa initiative. So for our first panel today, which is going to talk about ensuring safe learning environments for rural girls, I'm going to invite the panelists first, 4 amazing and remarkable panelists, and then at the end invite the moderator to lead the conversation. I would first invite, I hope you don't say I'm being selfish here, but I'll first invite Dr. Awalu Halilu, who is our first panelist. A round of applause for him. He's the head of Department of Continuing Education, Bayero University, Kano. A round of applause for Bayero University, please. Yeah. The co-chair, Kano State Accountability Forum on Education, that is KSAVE. Dr. Awal is a passionate girls' education advocate with decades of experience in civil society engagement. He's also an education consultant. He's the former Kano State Coordinator and Northwest Focal Person of the Civil Society Action Coalition on Education for All, and a member of the Kano Girls Education Partnership, GEP. A round of applause. Yes, you can take a seat, please. Yeah. Next, I would also invite Malang Tijani Haladu Baraya, who is the chairman, School-Based Management Board, SBMC. Malang Tijani, a very kind and humble man, is a seasoned professional with extensive expertise in banking and finance, corporate administration, and project management. He holds a master's degree in banking and finance and a postgraduate diploma in development studies from the prestigious Bayero University, Kano, providing him with a strong academic foundation complemented by practical leadership experience. I would also invite a remarkable woman, my teacher and my mother also, Professor Rabia Salihu Said, who is a senior research fellow, Center for Renewable Energy and Sustainability Transitions, Bayero University, Kano. It seems Bayero University is dominating the whole stage today. So she is a member, United Nations Scientific Panel on Nuclear War Effects. And please, a round of applause for this. This is a remarkable achievement. Remarkable achievement. One of very few Nigerians or even black people to be on this. So she's also a senior research fellow, Center for Renewable Energy and Sustainability Transitions, Bayero University, Kano. And then last but not least, I would invite the youngest panelists, my very good friend and sister, Honorable Hafsat Adhama, who is the Senior Special Assistant to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State on Girl Child Education. Honorable Hafsat is a passionate advocate for girls' education, women's empowerment, and social inclusion in Kano State. And as the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on girl child education, she has championed key initiatives to re-enroll out-of-school girls, promote gender-sensitive education policies, and curb street hawking through community sensitization and conditional cash transfers. To moderate this panel is Professor Hajara Umar Sanda. She is a professor of mass communication at the prestigious Bayero University, Kano. She is a professor of mass communication and a Fulbright Fellow to United States of America. She has served in the academia, private sector, and community development, and also a member Board of Trustees, Ihsan Scholarship Foundation. She is passionate about child education, youth empowerment, and entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our first panel for the day, and they are going to talk about ensuring safe learning environments for rural girls. Just before I hand over the mic to the moderator to lead the session, I also want to recognize the presence of Hajia Meiro Bello, who is the co-chair, CSO, Girls Education Partnership. We recognize your presence, Ma. Thank you so much. This panel is in about 35, 40 minutes. We would have this discussion for the first panel. Ma. Yes.
Ensuring safe learning environment for rural girls. Convened as part of the Kano Girls Education Summit under the Bridging Access to Girls Education Bench project. I extend sincere thanks to Bridge Connect Africa Initiative, the Malala Fund, and the Kano State Government for bringing us together for this vital discussion. This panel will examine practical measures that secure girls' physical safety, psychosocial well-being, and uninterrupted learning in rural Kano. And over the next 45 minutes, I believe, we'll first have some contributions from our panelists, which will describe the safety challenges facing rural girls, highlights initiatives that are producing results on ground, and also identify lessons that can be taken to scale. So first and foremost, I would like to invite Professor Rabia to tell us some of the principal risks preventing rural girls in Kano from attending school safely and regularly. Over to you, Prof. Ma.
Hello, thank you very much, our moderator, and permit to actually greet the distinguished guests present here and dignitaries and all the participants, our revered participants, that the young girls that we are molding and we are investing in, because actually more for them, and because we are on a way out, whatever it takes. So to your question, if we look at the principal risks that are preventing rural girls or whether urban girls from going to school, we have already seen a lot has been said. A lot has been said by Yarabi, who has always been a very passionate person about girls' education. So the ones that I can identify, the principal risk, the first and foremost, insecurity and violence. These coupled with kidnappings, harassment, unsafe school routes, how even get to school. And this is something that has been bedeviling the country. A long time ago, since the beginning of the Boko Haram, and which has actually, in fact, I presented a paper saying that the insecurity, the vulnerabilities and insecurities that has happened in Nigeria has actually impacted on the work that we have been doing for advocacy for girls to go to. We go and we say, girls should go to school, girls should go to school, and then they are abducted. You know, what do you now tell the parents? They say, you have come here to ask us to take our girls to school. We took them to schools, and they have been abducted and so on. So that's a very key risk. Another principal risk is infrastructure gap. And I think a lot has already been said about this. Fencing of the school, lack of proper classrooms, sanitation. And this is very, very key. It is very key because it also happened to me, and which is something that has impacted on my health, because I'm very, very finicky about sanitation, about easing myself in a clean place. So if that is not available, I tend to hold in. Either hold in to go and ease myself. And that has impacted now on me as a grown person, because the time that I started having these problems and I visited the doctor, what they said was that I tend not to go to ease myself. And that has now resulted in what is called impactment. So that sanitation, to me, is very close to my heart. It can really, really be a risk for girls going to school. And then we have these barriers, early marriage or withdrawal of girls from school to go to get them married. Cultural taboos include those who do not wish to have male teachers teach their girls. So if that is the case, they would rather keep them at home and not allow them to go to school. Then finally is a lack of role models. Girls tend to really, they really want to emulate somebody. So if they can see someone who has gone to school and so on, that would actually motivate them. So for me, these three areas are key principal risks that prevent girls from going either in the rural area or in the urban areas.
Thank you very much, Professor Rabia, for your perspective on the challenges that which ensures girls' safety in school. So maybe I have a follow-up question for you. Which among these challenges that you feel are maybe urgent and need intervention? You mentioned three,
yeah,
I believe, isn't it?
Especially if we talk, the key one, I think I would say, is the security, because I think it trumps every other thing. If they are not secure, if going to school, then they wouldn't go. It's the same thing with any one of us. Any place where you are not secure, you would not go. So if the school is not secure, the girls will not go. I think for me, that's a principal risk to actually determine whether they go to school or not.
Okay, thank you very much. So now I move to Dr. Awad. So your question is, which existing Kano state policy or budget issue aim to improve school safety for rural girls? And where do you see critical financing or implementation gaps? Maybe there are gaps that are supposed to be addressed.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم. Kano State, I used to call it a country on itself. Why? Because the number of schools. If you take the number of girls' schools or the number of schools in Kano State, then you take 10 states in Nigeria, smaller state. Kano schools is bigger than that. So you can see the complexity and nature of the situation. And at least there are policies, like I said, if you take Kano like 10 years back, before issues of budget analysis in terms of specification to the girl child education. I used to say it, when we did the analysis, sometimes it's 0% for the girl child specific. And by 2024-2025 budget, after, for example, engagement by civil society like the Girls Education Partnership, Sakefa at that time, KSEF, the budgetary allocation based on policy improved up to 9%. If you take the 29% as of 2024 and then the 31% as of 2025, the budgetary allocation for the girl child have increased specific. Then with the policy specific has just been signed in terms of the girls' education policy, and then issue related to non-state actors, and then the teacher development policy. Once you look at that, it specifies the amount in terms of the need for the girl child education to be provided with sanitary facilities. You see it specified in the budget. Number two, issue of transportation, because movement of the girl child from her home to the school, there are issue of safety there. So I think girl child education partnership in terms of the CSOs and also the government actors at that time proposes that there should be increment in terms of the rate of buses that move the girl child from their home to the school. I think in 2024, end of 2024 to 2025, there are a lot of increase in the number of buses that move the girls from the school, from the home to the school, and from the school to the home. Despite this improvement in the sector, we know there are still challenges. Maybe because of time, there are still challenges in terms of the number of the buses. In 2025 budget, there are increase again on the number of the buses. But once you move to other streets, you see maybe a situation whereby the buses are not enough. So that may be the challenges. And another challenges may not be with the policy. The buses are out in terms of the policy by 7 o'clock, but the young girls are coming out of their home by 8:30. Maybe at that time, based on policy, the buses have already moved with some young girls to school. So based on policy in Kano State, I think the signed policy for the girl child was signed about 2 months or 3 months ago in Kano State to ease in terms of budgetary allocation, to ease in terms of recruitment by percentage, to ease in terms of even PWDs, these among the girl child, what they are going to do for them. Then part of the challenges we have has to do with the monitoring and evaluation. This is what the government is able to do, but despite the activities, like you asked, there are still some challenges. For example, the M&E. The M&E issue is one of the major issues we have. For us as civil society, we have presented that even at the State House of Assembly. You have budget for the girl child. Then someone is supposed to be monitoring from the school up to the policy level at the top level. But is that monitoring done by the teacher himself, by the supervisor, or anybody monitoring? Then there is supposed to be a budget for that activity. And as per analysis, when you analyze the M&E amount provided by Kano State government, you see that there is a lot budget for infrastructure. There is a lot budget for others. But that teacher is not being monitored as per the girls' schools. We made an analysis about how much is being provided for M&E activity. And you see that per supervision, the person that is supposed to go to school 10 times, for example, per term, cannot go once because the amount provided for him will not be enough. And for us, as per solution, we wrote to the House of Assembly, please increase M&E issue, which will bring us down to the grade framework, where you see the amount you are supposed to even put for this, and for that. Then, due to time, to say the solutions, for example, on this, oh, you have. Thank you.
So I want for this vivid picture of budgetary allocation to the girl child. So I have a follow-up question for you. So I want to ask that, are there any promising policy, you understand, maybe policy revisions currently on the way now? Or on the...
Yeah, I think there are many policies. Like I said, I've said it, the governor have signed through our advocacies as CSOs, I think about 4 policies have been signed. For example, the girl child education policy, non-state actor policy, and then the teacher development policy, which will address even the rural issues we are facing now. The policy will guide the government, guiding the government in the sense that if we need a teacher in Bebeji, then the government should employ the teacher from around Bebeji. The policy will guide that. If you need a mathematics teacher or an English teacher in Dogua, then it should be mathematics teacher or English teacher, not Islamic studies, not Hausa teacher for politics. These policies have already been signed. I know we have wrote to the governor again as civil society. There are other policies on ground. And part of engagement that these policies are doing is issue of government setting what we call technical committee on safe schools. And all this technical committee is a policy being done by government with all civil society and other stakeholders as part of the technical committee. One, to be developing modalities for keeping our children, both girls and boys in our school, safe, and advising the government on other modalities to do. And part of the advice we do is calling the attention of the government on the boarding school that is being closed about 4 years ago. And through that prioritization of policies, now about 13 for the girls are being reopened or are being standardized up to standard. When my mother was showing one of the schools, I said we hope through the present intervention, which we are monitoring also, we see that some of our boarding schools that will be reopened next session will be like that, inshallah.
So thank you very much, Dr. Awal, for revealing these promising and wonderful, initiatives. So over to Honorable Hafsa, who is also an advocate on girl child education. So I just want to ask you, which low-cost, high-impact interventions have been evaluated in context similar to Kano, such as the menstrual hygiene management, safe transport schemes in community school committees, and with what results? What are the results?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. The Honorable Commissioner, please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. And I also want to appreciate Bridge Connect for pulling this up. Well done, my guys. Excellent job. And of course, also appreciate His Excellency for giving us this platform to come and contribute what we would be able to do. And again, for Bridge Connect, I don't know whether to thank you for putting me on this panel. I can't be too small for I don't know, but I feel too small for this panel. What can you give me? We have a lot of professors. BUK is dominating. Most of them are lecturers. They speak well. I beg. This is not easy on me now. So for the question, Prof, moderator, well, there are a lot of interventions that we've done, and one of them is focusing on the enrollment of out-of-school children back to school. And I've done a project under my office as an SSA, and we are also working on a project together with Prof. Awal here under Agile project as the component lead for second chance education. We do enroll under my office up to 3,000 out-of-school children back to school, and I must say that that is one of the most successful projects we've done, and it's called the Ilimi Gida Gida project. Like, whoever knows me know I talk about Ilimi Gida Gida because it is one of the most, I don't know, for me it's emotional because we are going around the streets of Kano, picking children that are roaming the streets during school hours and enrolling them into schools after consulting their parents. So it is, of course, you won't even believe the amount we used in doing that. It's so low, and the impact is massive. Out of these 3,000, we are going to keep monitoring them, ensuring that they are retained in school. That is why the Agile project is here, offering them conditional cash transfer, some tokens so that they can be in school, and so many other interventions. And under the second chance education, we do have about 7,000 out-of-school children, girls between the ages of 15 to 25, most of whom have never been to school. Some of them have been hawking the streets throughout their lives. And some of them are young mothers who are the victims of early marriages. And we do have about 7,000 of them within Kano State. And we do have them in several centers across the state. Of course, especially in our last year's work plan, we do not spend a lot. If we do consider what other segments of the education have spent, and the impact is massive. In fact, we recently got a recommendation from the national body of the Agile after they come and supervise all the projects that are going across the state, and they do recommend Kano State as the best state implementing second chance education. So I think with these two, we do have a lot of others, but I'm going to leave you with these two because you do mention low budget and high impact.
Yes, and I also made mention of impact in terms of menstrual hygiene management. You know, the first speaker also talked about it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So is there anything you are doing?
Yes, with regards to menstrual hygiene, of course, working with Agile closely, we are trying as much as we can to provide a lot of sanitary materials and sanitary facilities in schools. And recently, I think I have to spell this out, I've gotten an approval to also train 1,000 girls on how to make reusable pads in school and how to even monetize the skill. And, apart from that, recently again, we've also sent a proposal to the governor that we are going to establish a committee on menstrual hygiene because I think a couple of months ago, one of the things I saw was in Bauchi State, they passed a bill that in every environment where girls are gathering, that is, be it school, be it markets, be it, every environment or every community that we do have girls and women there, they do provide sanitary pad banks in those communities. So I sent to the governor proposing that we do establish a committee so that we can learn from the bill in Bauchi State and implement in Kano, and we are working on it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Hafsa, for these wonderful initiatives.
Thank you.
So now to Malan Tijani Aladu. What role can community leaders and women's organizations play in presenting and reporting safety incidents in schools?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على النبي الكريم. The Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Education, permit me to stand on the already established protocol. Just as you asked question on the role of community, one of the role is to mobilize. First of all, you need to mobilize, you need to make the community be aware of the reporting part. And we are lucky, the government, through its MDAs, for example, the State Universal Basic Education, they have trained some teachers, they have trained some members of the SBMC on these safety and safeguarding issues. And also at the state senior secondary school management, about 360 principals were trained on safeguarding through the Ministry of Education. So you can see it's based on the report from the school-based management committees to the authorities that there is need for the education managers to have knowledge on these issues of safeguarding and safety of our schools. And as it is now, there is a guideline, safeguarding guideline that the ministry has issued to MDAs, from MDA to schools. And as I said also, the school management committees and other community leaders were trained on the guideline. And then the role also of women, you know, women as it is, they are very, very important in the community. In our committee, we have what we call women committee. We use this women committee to go door by door to sensitize parents, to sensitize their children, particularly girls, on issues of safeguarding. And we have also advocated through the various stakeholders like the KSAFE, the SEKEFA, and the Girls Education Partnership. We advocated for the policy, I think Doctor has not mentioned it, this girls gender inclusive and social, gender equity and social inclusive. The policy has been signed. With this policy, and with this policy, at least issues of gender issues will be reduced. And then also, there is a policy now on ground, though it has not been signed, the inclusive education policy, and also the SBMC policy. Why we all advocated for this policy, we want our schools to be safe, for our children to go to school and learn. And then, the major issue on this safety for rural girls is mainly access, which Prof has said it, access. Many hard-to-reach areas, they don't have established schools. So you can see many of them will have to trek 6-9 kilometers. But alhamdulillah, from late last year to the second quarter of this year, some schools in the hard-to-reach areas have been established, basic schools. We now have primary school there, and we have upper basic schools. And also, issue of nomadic. You can see in so many fora like this, nomadic, nobody talks about nomadic education. But I'm telling you, through the advocate of the SBMC, we were in three communities of Kara, Irano, and Minjibur. And I'm telling you now, the government has given approval for SUBED to establish additional schools in these nomadic areas. So the committee is doing at least a lot of things to ensure that all girls in the rural areas have access to schools.
Thank you very much for these wonderful initiatives. And just a follow-up, how do you think we can strengthen this, what do you call it, we can strengthen partnership between these groups, isn't it?
Collaboration. Now I can tell you the government is open. You can walk into the commissioner's office. You can walk into any of the head of MDS, the SAMI is here. You can go in, tell them the issue, particular issue in your community, and I'm telling you they will attempt that.
Thank you very much. So now I have one general question for all of you, all the panelists. In just one sentence, what is your position in what safe learning environment for rural girls must provide? Let us start with Professor Rabia.
Okay.
Just one sentence, because we are running out of time.
Okay, one sentence, but I'm going to make it a compound sentence.
Mm.
If they are there, English, I should be, shouldn't I? Okay. One sentence on to guarantee security, safe route, secure school compounds, and that means adequately walled, fenced, toilets, and menstrual hygiene facilities for girls, and then strengthening community engagements such that we have parents, religious leaders, and local security forming a tripartite in order to be able to ensure. Thank you.
This is more than one sentence. So, Madam Haladu?
Yes. Well, Prof have said it, but one thing that I will add is employ or they recruit more teachers and deploy them to rural areas.
Mine, I would say, for us to have a safer environment, I think the government should continue to bring what they call evidence-based policies. It will help. Number two, I think there should be what they call advocacy and policy implemented. It's one thing doing the policy and it's one thing implementation. I think if we provide so much policies, there should be what they call strict implementation. It will really help.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah, thank you, ma'am. So in one sentence, I would say the government is doing a lot. I'm not being biased, but the communities, the schools must also put an effort to ensure the safety of these schools. Whatever the government is doing, if we are not having cooperation of the schools, the communities, and everyone involved in ensuring that those schools are running perfectly. So here we are going to put an emphasis on the SBMCs and of course the CBOs together with the government.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Absam. So now, I don't know if we can take maybe two questions or one question.
I think we...
It's no time?
At a single... Mr. Chairman?
5 minutes.
One question.
One question.
Okay.
So, the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Education, the SA and the SSS to the Governor, our mentors, or in person my mentor, Professor Hajara, from where I came from, the dignitaries and participants. So, first of all, I would like to appreciate and acknowledge the organizers of this remarkable summit, that's Kano Girls Education Summit, with title Investing in Her Future. Then whose future? The girl future. So my main concern and question is her future. Who? A girl with disability. I'm sitting here on behalf of persons with disabilities. For all the presentations and comments, I don't think there is a single place where I had a person with disability. Then, the most challenging girl is girl on wheelchair, girl that is managing with crutches to attend school, a visually impaired girl, a deaf girl, a girl with spinal cord injury with no bowel and bladder control. For all these your policies, do you consider this vulnerable group? Do you consider their sanitary, the accessibility, and then what? Safety and everything for girls with disability. Thank you, sir.
One more from a lady, Ajamero. Okay.
Mine is not a question.
just to add to the list of policies that you forgot to present, that we now have a draft safety and violence-free schools. It's in draft and it will soon be signed, inshallah. To talk to my brother that just asked questions, I happen to be party to most of the policies that have been developed. In fact, there's no policy that is discussed that persons with disabilities and women did not take the forefront. So we have always considered that. We never left persons with, and we have always have representatives from people with living with disability. So please be rest assured. Thank you.
Time, because of time.
Because of time, yes.
She said that she has responded to what.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay, but I just wanted to add a small this thing. Okay, I recognize you as my mentee, which led to this. But is when talking about safety, I think it's include everywhere. Not living in. So the perspective with which we looked at it was that it also includes everybody. It's like when you say men in some instances, you mean men, you mean women also. So that's it is. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. So on behalf of all the panelists, I'd like to thank all the panelists for their insightful presentations and also the audience for listening. So we also thank the Kano State government for making great initiatives in order to ensure the girl child education, especially in the rural areas. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of you.
Thank you very much. Please let's appreciate them one more time, this panel. It's been a great discussions, and I think there's going to be a photo session. The Honorable Commissioner will come up. The technical advisor, the special assistant, advisor to the governor, the three of them should come up. And of course, the chief executive of Bridge Connect, please, so that we have a photo session. We must appreciate this panel, and that's panel one, that dwell on the topic ensuring safe learning environment for rural girls, in which we had the moderator, my lecturer, Professor Hajira Umar Sanda, as well as other important people that dwell on the subject. And then there are a lot of takeaways from their discussions, starting from the success story revealed by most of the panelists. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think the Honorable Commissioner and the important dignitaries would like to okay. We are breaking out after this session, after the photo session. We've already given out a meal ticket for everyone, and we will be going to the mosque now to pray and come back by 2. Probably that will be the time when you will eat your meal. And the important dignitaries had a special area that has been made for them to eat. So for now, we are breaking out. We reconvene 2 o'clock after the prayer session. Thank you. Lunch by 2 o'clock after you. When you return from the prayer session, you show your lunch card and you get your lunch, please. Thank you.